we're finally here. We are finally at the Hyde episode of Confidently Uncertain Podcast. Finally made it. A lot of work, yes. Yes, welcome to episode 15 of the Confidently Uncertain Podcast. If I'm incorrect, welcome to episode 16. I'm starting to lose count, to be honest.
I have not been keeping up with it. After 10, I think I just kind of like, well, now we're in the double digits. We're going to be here for a while.
Yeah. I think once we hit 20, maybe I should just say 20 every episode until one of them is correct. But yes, welcome. This is a very important episode because this is the Hyde episode. And the reason why this is so important is because, little context here, Hyde is the most recent short film I have released. I released that October 31st this year, 2019. And boy, that was quite the experience. I think it was the hardest project I have ever taken on. And for a number of reasons, and that's exactly what this episode is going to be about here. So... more context about that. My relationships with Hyde, I wrote it and directed it, and I worked with a crew of, I believe, 13, 14 people. It was the biggest crew I've ever directed, and Azero here was part of that crew. He was one of the cast members, so he's also going to have some stories to share about this film.
Yeah. There's a couple of tidbits, like what I learned from it.
Yeah, get ready for some juicy scandals, all right?
Yeah.
If I find out I did some fucked up shit, and that we didn't care if drugs were illegal.
Well, technically there was one fucked up thing.
I guess it's only fucked up if you interpret it that way.
I guess, but that's the thing that was like the interpretation.
Yeah. What you said about it, and it upset one person. But I guess we would tell that story.
Yeah, we'll tell it.
We'll kind of do that stuff in order. So this would kind of be like a very similar. It would be kind of similar to the way we did the Sully Burke episode, in which I wanted to say exactly like what Hyde was, and I already said that. What made me want to do it. So on and so on, all the way to now it's released. And, of course, telling stories on set, because I feel like that's what people like the most. I feel like they like it all, but I was literally told by one person, you should tell stories about your experiences on set. So this is for you. So to start off, Hyde is a short film, yes, and it is actually my first delve into horror. And I remember I actually wanted to make it as a horror that was secretly a comedy. All because of what the premise was. So for people who haven't seen it, it's pretty obvious from the beginning, but I wanted to make hide and seek a horror. And originally, I wanted to keep it a secret that it was hide and seek. So I had this story in mind, and I started writing it, and I was writing it all to kind of get, like, the theme of hide and seek in there. Like, pretty much every motive behind the two characters that were in the film were motives that would have been between someone who was it in the game and someone who was, having to hide and had to go to base. So that's what inspired the story. And I might be jumping the gun here, but I should say that that kind of changed once I got it released. It didn't actually, to my opinion, it didn't actually keep the like hide and seek messaging in it as strong. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't too apparent. There wasn't as many clues as I originally wanted. And yeah, again, those reasons why. And I think it's good to share the original goal, just to see like how so much can change and lead to that final product.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm talking a lot.
Okay.
I don't know if you want. I don't want you thinking like just because it's my film, like
Well, yeah, you are the director, and there's a lot more to say about it. And I'm just Because I there's still some things that I don't know what your opinions on for certain things about Hyde were
Yeah.
about. So
Yeah. Oh, so
I
you're
just
go ahead and ask the questions then.
well, I
Um,
mean,
I just want you to talk too, because at one point people might think you just left to go get like a sandwich.
I mean, no, I get it. Well, I mean, first off, w- what were the expectations that you didn't? What were the things that you didn't expect? Like, what was the things you didn't expect about from start to finish?
Uh,
Getting into this. How about
well,
that?
I guess like the thing that I didn't expect the most was really how long it was gonna be in post production. I think that was where I was dicking people around the most unintentionally, um, because I would tell them where my goal was about when to release it. In fact, when we shot it, I thought it was gonna be out the same year, only a few months away from it, and it wasn't. And it's just because a lot of stuff. It just took more when you're doing this independently, and it's really like you're paying people in passion, like they want to be a part of this, and they will take no payment, and they understand that you can't really pay much, but at the same time, it's this thing in which you don't know how much you could really ask from them without like crossing a boundary, or like 'cause some people really do need to like work and make money before anything else,
Mm.
and I can't really attack them for that. So I could get more into that as I go into post production. Um, but yeah, so I wrote the script, and I guess like, well, yeah, let's talk. I guess like, yeah, we did pre-production. I remember like the goal was, I wanted to work with a bunch of people from City College, fellow students of mine. To me, it just felt right because it was like I want to share this with my fellow students, and at the same time, I also knew like they would do it. Like I could get some people, because the way I actually did the hiring process was like I asked people I liked, and I saw some of the work and I was like liking that, and I would honestly just ask them like, I have these positions, which ones do you feel the most confident doing? Like I need your honest answer here, okay? Because if you're like, I could try this out, it's like, well, what makes you say you want to try this one out of all the other ones? I don't want you saying just like give me anything. Um, and that's how I really casted it all. Not casted, but like crewed up. And the first thing I got was a producer, like someone to help me along, because with my other projects, I feel like part of the reasons why they failed was just because I was on my own. And when it got really difficult, it just became easier to give up because it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So it's nice to like talk to someone else and also have them help figure it out. And so we got the crew together. We got the location because the producer knew somebody who was really into film. Like he has film work, and he was actually just very excited to have a film made in his house. So it was almost like last minute how we found it too. Like everyone's asking when are we gonna film, and I remember the answer I kept giving was like, we're trying to figure out everybody's schedules, and that's when we could give a day of when we could film, and then we would need to go look for the location. It was so hard to get the time to film because it was just like people are asking when, and we're saying we need to know when you can, and then compare to everyone else. And some people are like, well, just give me the day and I will try. I'm like, we don't know which day to go for, because if you literally like just from this setup, we could say, all right, fine, we're gonna do June 6th and June 7th, and you'll get people like, oh, I can do that day. I was like, okay, then what day can you do? Like, help us out. And then when it was asked like, okay, is that for certain? It's like once we got like a date that worked for everyone, it was me and the producer rushing to like, where can we get this location? Who can list? We're asking everybody. We're asking all around. We checked Airbnb. We're seeing what we can afford. And those are the real scary things there. It's like, damn, if we can, I hope we don't have to pay anything because we just can't. And also, something I learned was like, I wrote the script with no location in mind. Like I had a imaginary house. So we will look at some places and it will honestly be like, I can't see this working with the story because there's some shots and there's moments that needs to happen, that just kind of like it can't be done in this house. Like I remember one thing I said, like I need a long hallway, and if a house didn't have a hallway at all, it's like I definitely can't work with that. And it'll be, and also like I need a room that really has a lot of places to hide it. It has like a lot of furniture in it, or looks like you have many options to hide in. And if it didn't have it, it's like I can't do that. That's why I can't like film in my own house. Or even like my parents' house, like was almost there, but it just wasn't. But then we just got lucky. And I remember when I got the house that we were looking around it and seeing if things would work. And at that moment, I was like rewriting the script because it was like, yes, it actually can be done. Like a long hallway got changed into like a long room that through the shots we did, we kind of like made it narrower. I remember with the furniture layout, I was also like, this furniture kind of gives it that narrow feeling too, because even though there's a lot of space in the room, it's taken up by like a couch, a table, island, and even like the garage. If you guys see it, like there's a garage in the scene, and that was kind of like something added later on, in which I wanted a shot one way, but I ended up changing up just from what we had. Yeah, so now we're over here in actual production, and boy, would you agree that was quite the ride there, Azero?
That was something. I mean, and it was in the span of 2 days, right? 2 days?
We did that in 2 days, yeah. Because
Yeah.
that's all we could get. Like the guy again, he wanted to help us out so much, but he was telling us everything like, okay, so what days are you trying to do this? And he was telling us to like, I have a kid, but he's gonna be in school. Like between like 8 and 3 o'clock, and his wife's also will be at work. And so he would say, so his thing was like, you guys can be there when my wife and kid aren't there. Not that he had to hide it, but it was like at one point you're gonna be intervening with their stuff and what they want. Like you come back after work, you kind of don't want a whole film crew in your home. So I say we had 2 days, but we really had 2 half days. We had like 10 hours, I would say, of each day, because somehow it was like, oh, they're not home yet. Let's just keep rolling,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, I know if we're going to go into order, I mean, production was very interesting because I know from your part, you were probably like, it was really a lot of pressure on set because we had to make sure, we were on time with everything. We only had a certain amount of hours, and I'm pretty sure cramming shots, it was like very difficult. But I guess for me, it was quite the opposite. There was times where it's like you waiting for like an hour or something, like just for you to get into a scene or something, or you're just kind of waiting around. And I actually found out recently that's actually quite common in the film industry.
Yeah. If you're an actor, you're just waiting until they need you.
Yeah.
And before you even come in, they need to set up the lighting. They need to set up the shot. They need to set up the camera. They need to make sure everything's right for when you come in. We're just rolling.
Right.
We're just rolling your parts and doing your takes. So, yeah. It's a job like an actor. They have plenty of downtime.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to be ready.
Right.
They need to be ready. Like when we call you in, it's like, yeah, you come over now, okay? So, but for a director, it's like when you're on set, it never stops. I think it goes for like director, cinematographer, camera operator. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anyone else. I think sound operator too, but for us, we didn't need sound in every shot. But yeah, for all of us, it's just because like everybody else, when they work, was reliant on when we were ready. So not only were we like always having to be working, it was like we also have to do this fast, but also properly.
Yeah. It was I guess for any I guess expiring actors are out there, and
I'm sorry, you say expiring?
I said aspiring.
Okay, it's not like expiring. Anyone fading away and giving up on their dreams out there.
If you haven't been on a film set, and it's not like I have a lot of film, experience, but from this one, and from what I heard now about film, bring something to do. Bring something. Yeah. Honestly, like I had a little game on my phone, but like you're gonna be there for a while. Mm-hmm. Keep well hydrated.
Dude, I was an extra on like many film sets, And I
Yeah.
remember that was like something like I learned on pretty fast because especially for extra, you're pretty much just props.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they don't care who they get. And I remember I was like the most eager extra because I'm like, hey, we need 3 people. Me, choose me. But I would bring in a backpack with like a comic book in it,
Yeah.
my notebooks, but most of the time I actually found myself just talking to like other extras, which would be like the fun part. And in all honesty, mooching off the food. I'm like, oh yeah, give me that shit.
That was pretty fun. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, but it does become like I think that is the thing that would play in the back of my mind. I don't know if it was different from you being like you're pretty much a lead, all right, from being a lead and me being an extra, but. For me as an extra, there was a lot of that question of like, what's going on? You know, like what am I? Do I still need to be here, or like what was it like for you?
Well, it was a little different for me. Yeah, you're right. Like I was pretty much in most of the shots. Probably actually, I think Chelsea had a lot more.
Well, yeah, she was the main character.
She was more the main
in the
character.
film. We're making sure we're following her the most,
right?
And she was hiding from you, so you weren't in all the shots.
I'm more of I'm an ambiguous character. So the only thing for me was since I was so for the film. If you guys don't know, I was actually covered in paint. So we had to create the illusion of a shadow. We had to create the illusion of a silhouette.
Well, just make it clear. I was like, sorry, you said silhouette already. When you said the illusion of a shadow, I was like, he wasn't playing a shadow. He wasn't like just in the background, like hunched like he was a fridge.
No.
And meanwhile, we also had Chelsea play a tree.
No. Shadow's the wrong word. Silhouette. No features were supposed to be on me that are human because, like you said, in the originally it was supposed to be like an ambiguous character. Yeah,
your character was supposed to come off. I always described it as humanoid.
All right.
Because it's like, yes, you look at the silhouette of this figure and it's a silhouette of a human, but you lose all of the features that kind of make them recognizable as a person, if that makes sense. Like, I wanted your face blacked out. Like, pretty much in every shot, you look like a perfect silhouette. That was the goal. That it's you don't have any facial features. There's nothing distinguishable. Like if someone was if this creature came in the house and then ran, you could just describe it was a man.
Right.
It's like, well, what do they look like? It's like big man. That's all. That's all I got.
That's all you could say. And so for me, that was the only downside of waiting. Yeah. I was waiting with all this paint on me.
Which again, sorry, and thank you. I told Azero, I said like, I asked him to be the figure, the monster of my film, and I told him, I said, wear all black, and as a heads up, you might have like some black paint on you. And he was like, why some? I was like, well, just a touch of like if we need like really hide some facial features, we will just touch you up a bit. And I even told the makeup artist, I was like, yeah, like give him some black makeup on him just to make him like a really good shadow. And Azero comes back covered in paint, all up from the arm, from the hands to the shoulders of his arms, from his neck to the top of his head to his ears, and he comes back like he's soaking wet, like the way you held your arms up, and you're like, Nick.
Yeah, it's like you said a little.
yeah. And meanwhile, I'm laughing. Everyone's laughing because none of us knew this was gonna happen, and I had to go up and whisper. I was like, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, but this is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it just truly was like, how is it everyone in the crew kind of knew like you weren't gonna be covered, but the makeup artist also, you came over like it was like you just noticed it was a mistake, but you were sitting in the chair for a while. Like, when did it come to your head? Like, oh, I think I'm gonna be covered.
Well, I thought she had direction from you, so I was like, oh, I guess Nick told her to do this. So, you know,
but
what?
It's funny
I'm not
too,
gonna be.
I said a little bit to you, and then there you are getting covered, and you're just like, all right.
Yeah, it's like
Nick lied.
Maybe I was like, oh, I guess it's just the arms and the face.
You didn't get the legs.
yeah, I guess that.
If you think about it, we did not even get like close to your entire body. Just your arms, neck, and head. You still got a torso, legs, and feet. You know.
And it was just nice, but again, I mentioned this outside the podcast, but I'm a warm guy. I sweat very easily, so I had to be really careful. I had to specifically sit in spots that was like cold, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't like stain any of the furniture that was around me. I had to be really careful.
Yeah, and I've been in that position before too. Like,
Uh-huh.
it is this thing of like you're an actor and like yeah, all this downtime, but when you're covered in paint, it's like I can't relax. No,
Yeah.
I'm not relaxing because I feel like I'm gonna fuck up everything.
And what made it worse, no hate to anyone on set. Like everyone did great, and I'm glad that I was part of it. But the fact that I had this on made me a little bit more irritated because like just like more short tempered because I had to think about it all the time. There was points where I'd be sitting down and someone would be like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh crap, I have to like get up from this damn couch and
Yeah. And also because like I mean for everyone else, yeah, we want to get done as soon as possible. For you, it's like the sooner we get done, the sooner I fucking get this paint off.
Yeah.
And then knowing though is like on the first day you're like, but it's gonna happen again the second day.
It's like here we go again. And well, it was also like when people are telling me to go everywhere, like when people are like I'm asking, okay, like what do you want me to do now? And I get no answer from some people. Again, no hate, but nor in a normal circumstance, it's like, oh, okay, cool, right. But in my head, I'm like, I'm fucking covered in paint right now. Like, please, I want to just get it done.
Yeah. Can we just do all my shots, please?
Yeah, I know. It wasn't terrible, but that definitely played a part.
But that's what made you such a great crew member is that I could tell you were irritated. I remember there was this one time I was giving you direction and I could just tell you were so irritated.
Yeah.
But I never got a snap back. Like your responses were just very direct. It was just, okay, got it. Uh-huh. Yes. And then if you had a question, it would just be like, so you want me to do it like this? And I'll be like, yeah, but you never like, you want to crack a joke. You wouldn't like waste. It's like everything you said was meant to not waste time with any other side comment. It was just, and then if someone else was joking around, like you didn't really laugh. You just kind of waited.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, okay, we're doing a shot now. What's going on?
Because I didn't want to be a fucking bum on set, but at the same time, I really wanted to like. It's easy for other people to joke around at the moment, but for me, I'm like, can we just get this going? And also, I knew that I mentioned it on the both days on set, like I know you were going through a lot, and I know like it was definitely pressure on you. So either way, I didn't want to waste any time.
And that would be a perfect segue to talk about the pressure.
Yeah,
and, pretty much all the work. But I think I really want to touch on while we're still on it. The elephant in the room between you and me. I don't know how soon it came apparent to me, like what I realized, but seeing you covered in black, all on your face, I then was like, oh god, Azero looks like he's in blackface. And making it clear again, watch the film. No, we're not doing.
No.
You wouldn't, if you watch the film, you wouldn't be like Azero's in blackface. He's completely silhouette. He looks like a walking shadow. But without the color grading and the lights making him a silhouette, it was just like, you're just a man walking around with a black face. And I literally mean the color black. And it's like, this is really bad. I think it was when someone showed me a picture. And I think it was a picture of me and you, and I remember thinking like, oh, we gotta delete this.
Yeah.
This does not look good.
We did a little powwow at the end of the first day, like, hey, everyone, don't take a picture of Azero.
That actually wasn't at the end, it was midway.
Oh, it was midway?
Because I remember this. The makeup artist took a picture of you and said we're making a film. And I said in the middle, I was like, all right, everybody, so, because I talked with you, and you were actually very concerned. And you were concerned because you took it a step further. You sent it to my girlfriend, and for people who don't know, my girlfriend, she's black, and you sent a close up of your face, and you captioned it, "I swear this is not blackface." And then she goes off, and you're like, "Don't ever send me something like this again."
Yeah, like that's not funny.
And you go up, and you're like, "Hey Nick, is Kat upset?" I'm like, "What? She sent me this. She knows I'm helping you, right?" Like, I had to explain myself, and I look at my phone, like, "Oh my god, is Kat mad?" And I check my phone, and I think the text said something like, I'm so happy for your first day on set, babe. I love you so much, smiley face. But after reading your message, I was like, is this passive aggressive? Like, and we're like, she knows the plot. Like, she knows everything about the plot. She knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so it was after that. That's when we like we went up and said like. Also, I think the makeup artist, so she, like I said, she posted a video of you, and we started saying like, "Oh my god, this looks like blackface."
Yeah.
She deleted the video.
Yeah.
She was like, "This is a good point." So we told everyone like, "Hey, if anyone takes any pictures, you have to give 100% context, but more importantly, Azero himself has requested do not post any pictures of him like this because he cannot risk it." And we even made this like joke, like, "Oh my god, you gotta go home in this."
Yeah.
Like, and we made this joke of like we get pulled over like driving, and the officer comes up to you and he's black and he sees you and he's like, you want to explain what this is all about? And your response would just be, "Oh no, it's not what it looks like. You see, I'm playing the bad guy in the film," and then you just get like pinned to the hood of your car, you know.
Oh man.
So it was making that clear again. It was not blackface, but damn, it looked bad without the color grading, and it looked even worse when you were eating and you had to wipe your lips. I was like, oh my god,
it was like the old-fashioned blackface.
What do you mean old-fashioned? There wasn't. They're all old-fashioned blackface.
No, but the ones that like way back in the cartoons in which they had the super red lips.
It was always like that. That's blackface.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned. All right, Robert Downey Jr. did it differently.
Well, no, but anyways.
It was like, this is awkward.
Yeah, it was.
Let's get this man in the dark fast and silhouette him. All right.
Yeah. So I was glad to like take that off.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like early footage, there was sometimes we could still see like your eyes and your beard, and I remember I was like worried about the film. I was like, oh, what if we can't fix this? And I was like, well, a plot of a man in blackface intruding into your house is also extremely terrifying. but nonetheless, the pressure. That was a true segue that was supposed to happen there. So yeah, the first day. I mean, now we know how you were feeling. I remember the first day I walked in, and I'm at this house, and everything's getting set up. I remember I was feeling clueless. Because it was like you had all this, we had these meetings and all this talk about like what we're gonna do first and how we're gonna do it. But you walk in and you're literally like, so do we just jump in? Like I'm kind of lost. And I'm the boss. I'm the boss. Like every other job I've had, it was always like if someone asked a question, I could turn to somebody else and ask them that question, and then they would go find out. But here it's like I was the dead end for all the questions and. It's like, oh my god, I just had to really show confidence here. I had to be confident in everything we talked about. Just roll by the game plan. So we start setting up. We go through it all. I'm answering these questions. And the first place we shot in was the bedroom. And I remember, like, as we are about time frame, I said, we're going to do this Clint Eastwood style. We're just going to do 2 takes, good enough, and then move on. That's easier said than done. Because when the takes just weren't exactly how you want it, you're like, we can slip in one more. Let's try again. Let's do this again. And we spent hours in that bedroom. I think like over an hour than we originally planned. Because we schedule, like the way you schedule how long you're going to spend in each room working on certain scenes. And for me, it was like I was an hour over when we originally said we should be done and be in the next room. I remember the AD would repeatedly come up to me and say like, hey, Nick, I know you're still working. I'm just letting you know you're 10 minutes over. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then he'll come back. He's like, hey, Nick, I can see where we're at right now. But I need to tell you, like, we are now 30 minutes over and we got this much time. Like, he just repeatedly kept coming. I kept dismissing him. Because again, it was just, that was like, oh man, it was just difficult. I don't know how else to describe it besides difficult. It was difficult because, we had all this rehearsal and practice, but there was still like I remember the camera we got was a camera the camera operator didn't have too much experience with, and that was kind of that was on my end the most. Like we got the camera and I tried to schedule it to meet up with it for they could practice with it, but it was just really difficult to get the scheduling, and they didn't get it till the night of, And that's actually something very important. Not every camera is the same. You give a camera operator a camera, they need to practice with it before you just put them on set. So there was some difficulty in that. Figuring out the lighting and seeing like exactly. I think lighting was a bit easier, but there was still times that I guess overall, since it wasn't looking like how I wanted to look, how it looks now in the final result, I wasn't certain. I was like, is it gonna look how I wanted? So you end up like, especially because you need to be completely blackened out. It's like, oh my god, I can still see his eyes. Like, will that change in pose? It was just scary to deal with. And those longer shots, those longer takes, like when the woman, when Chelsea, when she's walking to that door, like that from that back shot we have of her, she's walking to that door, and that moment when she like drops down and hides at the door frame and the figure slowly turns and then leaves and we just hold it there. Like, the longer the take, the harder it is because you got to really block that stuff out and make sure it's all perfect. Because my vision was like, I don't want to do too many cuts here. And so I think that was a scene that had the longer takes. So that's why I took the longest. Also, I mean, again, it was like the factor of like the camera operator didn't have too much experience with the camera, and then making sure everything's blocked out and rehearsing it. And overall, it's like I can say this is my first day with Hyde, but it was also like my first day doing a film of this magnitude. Again, you're walking in like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Oh, and also, I think the next room we did was the living room where the final scene is. That final shot, that's also a long take, and that took blocking with you, Chelsea, and making sure the camera was tilting up and rising up along with it all at the same time to capture that all and making sure the lighting was good too, because originally it was like far too bright. So, appreciate those fucking shots, because like doing all that really were those challenges, and it's why like you don't see it much. I mean, the style, of course, I'm not gonna attribute it all to because of like mistakes or because it's difficult, but it is difficult to do. So if you're gonna plan to do a longer take and stuff that requires so much blocking, it's like you gotta prepare. Like, that shot is gonna be the most time-consuming shot there, okay? Especially on the first day, because you could do all the rehearsal. Like, we had rehearsals, we had test shootings, but I think it truly is different once you're like on the set itself, because you just get better at it as you go along, which means, well, if you're only getting better, then the first time you do it definitely has to be the worst in comparison of everyone trying to get the hang of like what's the vision. And also, I remember that assumption too. I remember the cinematographer actually told me, he said like, all right, Nick, so I can't remember if this was on set or before, but he's like, you talk a lot like we all know the script as well as you. Here's the honest thing. None of us read it as thoroughly as you. We did not write it. We kind of skimmed it. So we need you to just be direct. I need you to be technical with me. All right. And I think that was like a really good note at that moment. I was like, got it. Like, no more of this stuff. Like, didn't you read the script? It's like, I'm just going to assume no one even knew I wrote a script. All right. I'm going to assume like everyone came here and I had to tell them a whole new story. Okay. And remind them, they say they got it, I'll just be like, fine, I'll just make it a shorter sentence, but I'm still going to like make sure we're all on the same page. And so I think we were behind, I want to say 20 shots. We were just behind a lot of shots on day one, which meant we had more to pick up on day two. And I remember that day was like, I felt absolutely defeated to the point I was like, wow, that was so hard. Like, we're so behind and we only have one more day after this. I don't think we could do it. And I remember saying to the crew, saying like, hey, you know what? I know what happened today. Everything, we all did phenomenal though. It was all great and we're going to do great tomorrow. And who knows, maybe the homeowner will give us an extra day. And I remember the producer, Dario, was like, whoa, why are you saying that? Like, I said, I was like, I thought we're all thinking it. I'm sorry, It was almost like I was trying to give a pep talk and then completely negated what I said. Like, we all did great. We're going to kill it tomorrow. but we're not. Like, that was kind of the talk. So he was doing a better job. Like, Nick, shut up. You don't mean that.
Yeah.
And I remember even sitting down, and I said to the camera operator at the end of the first day, I was like, maybe I just want to become a writer. Like, what? It's like, do you not like this? And I was like, no, I like it, but imagine if I only had to write this and never had to come to this set.
Yeah.
All right. Let me tell you, all your filmmakers out there. All right. If when you're starting out, as your sets get bigger and bigger, if you feel defeated on the first day, all right, it's natural. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna feel defeated because it's fucking hard. That's what I tell everyone. I was like, yeah, you're gonna feel that way because it's hard. All right.
Yeah.
But then you give it a recovery day, a day or two, and it's like, man, that was worth it though. That's when you feel good. So that was the first day. I don't know if you want to add anything about the first day before I jump to the second day.
I think the second day was more prevalent for me in general, so probably move to the second day.
All right, so the second day. I don't know what happened the second day, but we actually did fucking kill it. All right, we did fucking phenomenal on the second day. So much it's kind of like a blur to me. Like, I know what happened. I know for certain stories, but I don't know what was the beginning and what was the end. If that makes sense right there. Like, I remember it was almost like just getting to set. Like, we all learned from the first day. It's like, let's just get the set. Let's do this. Now we know, I remember there was this time, one thing I forgot to mention about the day one, where I started feeling insecure was because we're having trouble with these shots and trying to figure them out and really get them. I remember at one point the makeup artist was even chiming in. She was like, well, why don't we just try this? Why don't we just do this? And I appreciate her help so much. And I don't hate her for it. But it was just at that moment of like, wait, this is not her job to do. Why does she feel like she needs to help me out? I know what I'm doing, right? I look like I know what I'm doing, right? You know? Yeah. I guess it's like, no, it's not wrong of her, but it was like that thing of like, what motivated her to do that?
Yeah.
Why does she feel like the director needed help? And again, it's like, that's not the makeup artist's job to like help with directing, you know?
Uh-huh.
But on day two, it was like, I just felt like so in charge. Like, yes, I was listening to everybody. I was getting feedback. I was moving, but everything was just really like, jumping from there, let's do this. Okay, we got that. And again, like talking like more technical and like of talking appropriately to each person, I guess it was. Like when it came to the actors, I was like you and Chelsea, I was talking more about like what your characters are doing, but outside of just saying like what you were feeling, I was also like, I gave you kind of both. I said, I want you to walk slower because you know you're gonna catch her. Like that's the way I worded it. Was like the key. If you didn't get like the imaginative description, you would be like slower, got it. But then I also gave you something to work with in your mind, like, oh, because I know I'm gonna catch her, it's like pointless to run because I'm catching her regardless, you know. And with like other people, if it was like say like a grip or the camera operator, I would just tell them like, yeah, follow them around along like this. Yeah, this is how I want it. Be like, I want this handheld. I wouldn't tell them like I want a handheld because I want this to feel really intense. Like I want a handheld. All right, that's what you need to know. If you have any questions about the story, I'll gladly tell you. You know. So yeah, and I remember it was even like feeling good too. I remember feeling good about it because I was still able to like joke around and have good times. But it was just like we knew like go from one thing to the other. And I remember I was feeling really good. I think this was like the most I felt in the zone, and I was like, I just leveled up in directing, you know. It was when I think we wrapped up in the garage, and the garage had the most shots in it, so it was the biggest thing, the most difficult thing for that day. And the AD Daniel, when he comes up to me and he says, "You guys are actually ahead of schedule." And I was, after yesterday, I'm hearing how one was behind. I was like, whoa, we're ahead of schedule. Like, you actually like 10 minutes ahead of schedule. All right. You can actually, since you have this light set up in the garage already, you can actually get this shot that we missed yesterday in the hallway, the hallway entering the garage. Like, yeah, you could get that shot. But you gotta get on it now. And at that moment, just snapped in my head. I was like, all right, everybody, I just got this news from Daniel. We're doing this. And I was just directing everybody. He's like, no, we gotta get the lights set up. Turn that one on. Get the camera over here. Okay, so here's what... And everything was just like step by step, like saying it. And I remember Daniel, he came up to me and he said, like, just briefly, he's like, you got a real cadence in your voice right now. It's very entertaining. Because people were kind of laughing. I remember the way I was speaking would be all like, Azero, I'm gonna need you to come in after Chelsea. You wait after like count to 10, and then you come in. All right, okay. Let's redo this. It would be like that. But then if you guys did a good job, it was like, all right, that was great. Good job, everybody. Let's move on to the next thing. Yeah. Like everything was just said so still. Like nothing changed. It was just all enunciated so perfectly. And I also remember like on that moment, it's probably just the stress all around. But even like the producer was trying to chime in, like, no, let's not do this shot. Like, no, we gotta move on, And I think that was the other thing that kind of like motivated is like, all right, now we got the antagonist for 10 minutes. Like, I'm not saying he's the antagonist of the set, but for that 10 minutes, it's like, let's prove him wrong. Yeah. So it's like, let's do this. And we got it. We got that shot with 2 minutes to spare. Yeah. It took like a number of takes, but we used that time. I remember I kept saying like, I don't feel that take. How much time do we have left? 5 minutes? Okay, we're doing another take. Okay, here's how I want it differently. Like, it just was beautiful. Okay. It was so fucking beautiful. And I guess like overall, like that's just kind of how the flow was going. It was just everything was working more. We were able to pick up those shots, and that was the most impressive thing. It was like we not only were able to complete the day, we did more. Like we fucking nailed it today, and my crew was fucking amazing. All right, my crew was fucking incredible. Okay, I'll work with all of them again. I can tell you each why they're so great, but I just want to share some stories. Well, one, yes, you let us paint you.
That's all for me. Next
yes, that's all for Azero. I also remember like you lit us, like she slammed a chair into your knee, and I was like, Azero, are you okay if we actually slam that chair into your legs? And you're like, yep. And so like let's do a rehearsal, and it's like just kept slamming into you. Other things were like asking Chelsea to like do those falls for us when it's like we have this blanket but we can't really show it too much, or it's like, here, grip onto my arm and then this drop. And she acted like really fucking well, so kudos to her. Like that's what I gotta say. She fucking acted well. She took direction very well. She was a delight to have on set. The camera operator Imani, for that shot in which we are like the woman is running and we see the front of her, and this is like in the kitchen, that required the camera operator to run backwards, and they were like completely cool, like, yeah, let's do it like that. And they tripped 3 times, and we have that footage. I do want to like compile that together, but they tripped once, just like I think on the carpet. Actually, I think twice on the carpet, and one time they knocked over the trash can, and every time I kept asking if you're okay, they always responded like, yeah, let's do this again. And when they knocked over the trash can, they even went like, whoa, yeah, come on, let's go. And I kept saying like, you don't have to do this. Like, and she would be all like, do you like the shot? I was like, it's pretty good, but I think we could get something better. And they were like, all right, we're doing this again. It was like, but you're hurting yourself. But they just kept pushing through, and they like, that's the type of sacrifice this camera operator gave. And yeah, I could just keep giving the list on and on. I mean, we filmed during the day, and it looks like a fucking nighttime on that. So fucking props to the cinematographer and all the grips blacked out the entire fucking house to make it look like night, and it was fucking beautiful and phenomenal. So shouts out to all of them. Like I think we all also like did something in which we stepped out of a comfort zone and took that next step into like our careers here. Like the whole lighting crew made a black box outside of one of like that big sliding glass door. And the reason it was like literally like it wasn't just a curtain, like they made it like a box to add some depth to the darkness. We don't just see a curtain. And also figured like kind of like play with lighting a bit better on that. So that was like a real challenge, like something we were so uncertain about doing. Yeah, I don't know. I could just ramble on and on and on about production. You got anything? Maybe You could jog some memories there.
Nah, just honestly avoiding couches and.
Was that all your experience was on set? Like, how was day 2 for you? I don't know how.
I wish I could be like, yeah, no, I felt great. Yeah, I felt like the energy. I felt like everything's going smoothly. I do remember like your attitude change on day 2. That's awesome. For me personally, though, it was pretty much the same thing. Like, all right, just don't fuck up anything around me.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was so exciting that we got everything.
I'm curious. Did you end up having a bond with the makeup artist? Because I can tell you why I'm asking this question, but did you get any kind? Because she had to probably like touch you up a lot, you know, and you just sit in the chair and she just grooms you up to be a monster.
Not really.
Okay,
I was just there.
I only asked because so one time I played a monster for a film. I was also painted all black, but I had horns, contacts. I had more than just trying to be silhouetted.
Yeah.
And that's where I met our makeup artist, Amy. And there was someone else I was working with. Oh man, I'm blanking on a name. I want to say Celine, but I feel like a dick now because I'm like, I don't think it's Celine. Man, I know her Instagram name though, but Carla, that's her name. Her name's Carla. But anyways, I remember like because they for them to put it on me, I had to sit in the chair for like an hour, and so just joke around, talk. But I also couldn't feed myself because of that, so they also had to nurture me a bit, help me eat, spoon the food into my hands because I also had claws, so I couldn't really use a fork. They put straws in the drink for me. They'll bring the drink to me if I was on set. But the closest, the one that got me the most, I don't know if it was them who did it or someone who was just around, but I had my arms all black. I had fake nails, claws, on my fingers, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And as I went to the bathroom, first thing I noticed was like, oh man, I can't turn this thing to lock the door. All right, it's fine. I'll just, I'm just peeing. I'll just speed this up. And then I'm trying to go for my belt, and it was weird because the nails weren't really mine. That all I knew was it would have felt like my fingers wouldn't go any further. And I was like, wait, why? And the nails just kind of like gave a little pushback. So I had trouble with my belt, and I was like, oh fuck, but I finally got it. And then I unzipped my pants, and then I had trouble taking it out.
Yeah.
But I finally got it all. And I remember there was this pose. Oh man, I can't describe this pose. All I know is I was holding my shirt up with just my like triceps, and I was trying not to get black on them. So I got like my arms up like a raptor. And I wanted to and I leaned my crotch forward to make sure I was in the toilet, and my pants are down slightly above my knees, and I'm remembering the door's unlocked, and I'm like, this is not the pretty image. Like, I have all the ways to pee. This is the most ridiculous way I can think of right now. And if someone turned in and wanted an explanation, my response would just be like, I'm the monster. But then afterwards, I was like, all right, I'm all done. I pull my boxes up, pull my pants up. I can't get my belt. I can't get my zipper. I can't get anything. And I can't wash my hands. Oh, that's why I didn't touch anything, because I was like, I can't wash my hands because the paint would come off. So I had to walk back from the bathroom to the stage. And it was pretty far in this building. With my fly down, my pants slowly falling down, and the chink of my belt alerting that I'm coming closer, and having to ask people like, I need a favor. So they zipped me up and put my pants on. And yeah, just a lot of times like just touching me up and like joking around. I don't know. That's why I only asked, because like from my experience with makeup artists, like the people I interacted with the most on set were the makeup artists, and that was like for 8 hours in 2 days.
Well, I didn't need that much pampering or anything. Mine was just simple paint, but it was like I
you can still pee. Is that what I'm hearing?
I could still pee.
Amazing.
Well, because if it did stain on my clothes, it's still black. So
oh yeah, you're wearing all black.
Yeah, so it didn't really matter.
Man, I remember on the first day when I was the monster, I thought they were gonna change me. I thought I was gonna get different clothes. I came in with a white T-shirt, and it wasn't just a plain white T-shirt. It was like one with like a design. Like it was a really cool design.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get it ruined, and I was like, man, this fucked up, right?
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna take me out of this fucking thing. The second day, I came in shit clothes. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then they changed me. I was like, oh, what the hell? Yeah. But yeah, day 2 was amazing. We got it all filmed. I mean, I feel like there was like hundreds of stories, but it really is just like we were just very successful, like getting that all together, and it was just such a comeback for all of us. And I feel like we all have that like both that story being on set both those days. We all have that like story to tell, and that's the experience we all share. And so again, when I'm like, amazing crew, and I'll work with them again because I know if that's how great they did on that set, they have more experience now. Like working with them again would be even better.
I think, well, to quickly interject, I guess one thing I can think of, and I think would be useful to a lot of people who are starting up, maybe directors or anything like that, is sometimes you don't have enough money, to pay everyone, and it's completely understandable. But I would say invest enough in food. Because that will make a film crew very happy.
That's what they say in film school. If you can't pay them, you feed them.
Because I was eating a lot, and like if it wasn't for that, I would be much more irritated. I was like, I had plenty of water.
You're only gonna get more irritated if you're thirsty and hungry.
Exactly. So that helped out a lot. Like you got like 2 boxes of like the Starbucks, and then like a lot of like chips and like dip and all that. It was really nice. It was really good.
Yeah. And you don't want to spend that much, all on it. But that's true. I would say like if you're working with a crew that's all working because they're just as passionate to work on your film as you are, and you're not paying them, like you got to understand, you cater to them, really show your appreciation, because when you're not paying someone, they could just leave anytime.
Right.
Like really, there's nothing holding them to stay there. So I think like no matter how stressful it gets, like that's even why like I would still check in with people. I would listen to the feedback. Like I would really take it in, and I mean most of all, just making sure I'm always talking to them with the respect that they deserve.
Yeah. So anything that really shows that you're gonna go above and beyond, that's a great compensation, in my opinion.
And I mean, now moving on, like why? So it only took 2 days of film. Why did it take like over a year to finally release? Like, what was post production?
It's fucking life, man. Come on.
It really is a fucking life thing. If I was just like skimmed through it and oversimplified, it really is just because like I had an editor, and even I like touched up and I edited it too, but it really was like it was a lot of work because like the footage we had was just more difficult to work with, to the point that like all my other projects I never worried about color grading, but this one I was like I need a color grader, and because of like my editor is a great fucking guy. All right, he is a phenomenal person. I feel like that's all how I'm always describing. Great and phenomenal. Like
phenomenal.
That's the.
I ain't phenomenal that much.
Take the hint.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. It's just I think that's why I use it so much because it's the big, like fabulous word. Like whoa, it sounds like a compliment. It sounds like the most complimentary word. I don't know. Complimentary. There we go. That's what it. I can speak. But no, I mean he's a cool dude, and like. Since I started film class, like he was one of the first people I met, and just like we constantly had a class together, and me and him made the Aftermath together, which I think is a really good project of ours. But it was honestly like when he was editing it, he was working a full-time job while also being a if not full-time student, damn near it, And at the same time, I remember at one point he was actually having issues like with living situations. And the way he liked working, he like for me, I thought the understanding was like if like I was very nervous to get an editor because I was like I want complete control like how this is gonna be timed. And I thought like okay, I'll give him the footage and then he just puts it together based off the notes. But unfortunately the notes weren't too good because some things happened between like and like when we're doing actual production because of like how we're kind of rushing some things, not everything was so clear and went with the notes. But he was like, I want to edit this when you are here. And in my mind, I was like, then why did I get you as the editor? But it was understandable, because you never know how some directors work that way. They look over the editor's shoulder the whole time as someone like, don't show me until you're done, and someone in between. So to schedule a day for the both of us, it just was very difficult to schedule, in which we would probably go like a month without seeing each other again, if not more. But that's overall like why that part took so long. I think that was like 6 months, if not a bit more, just to like meet up with each other and constantly like try to figure the stuff out and kind of fix the footage in some cases. And I remember like, you see the first cut. When I saw the first cut, I just fucking thought this film was terrible. It didn't have a color grade. It didn't have any sound. So like the vision was really hard for me to visualize. I knew what it looked like in my head if I closed my eyes, but looking at the footage, I was like, it's not possible. But I'm already too far in. I spent all this money. And at the same time, it's like all these people put all this work in, including me. It's like it would be an injustice to not release this and not do my damn best with it. So after the footage got edited together, I got a color grader. And once the color grading came back, I remember I even like re-edited it. And then I started doing the Foley work. And then doing the sound. It was funny too, because as the Foley work was getting done in the sound mixing, it started changing the direction of the film, in which I did cut out some moments in a favor to like let shots hold longer and just really let some sounds kick in. Like I say, like Ian was the one who did the sound for Hyde, and it honestly like, wow, his touch on this really did put such a change into the film. He's like a strong influence on how the final product came out. And overall, like what happened, like, well, after that, like a little over 6 months of like just editing, like what was everything else? It really was like waiting for the color corrector to bring it back, doing the Foley work myself, then giving that sound to Ian, working with Ian on the sound, and the score, and all this while still working a job and still going to class. It just was really hard to balance. And then like while like trying to balance it all with work and school, and this always seemed to come like it always felt like I was falling behind no matter what I did. Like I started feeling like I feel that I was neglecting the film, which can be very demotivating. Very really vicious cycle there.
Yeah.
Because like you're not working on it because you're not working on it almost. But I took when the summer hit, I took a semester off of school and I made it my priority, like finished up Hyde and worked with Ian planning out say a deadline, and it was released. Boom. It was released October 31st, 2019, and that was just amazing. I had a premiere for it, like a premiere event in which I showed other short films of mine and some friends, and then showed Hyde, and we had an after party. And I think it was just a beautiful moment, just because it finally came all together. And even with the event, it was just like that event finally came all together. Like I finally having that night to share it with everybody. I don't know, just it was just that thing that kind of said like I can only move up from here. And yeah, I think that's where Hyde kind of like feels for me. It's just like it really is the biggest project I have taken on, and I will admit like I don't think Hyde, personally, I don't see Hyde being my best film, and I also feel like it could have. I also feel like I saw it coming out differently from like the very beginning when I first wrote the script to where it is now, but I'm extremely happy that I did it.
Yeah, and that's at least it wasn't a what if like we always talk about. It's something that you actually enacted on, something that you now know that all the trial and errors that you kind of did, which is what we always talk about in this podcast.
Yeah,
you know, the whole TLDR from what I got from that is life happens. You know, shit happens all the time. It's not just point A to point B very very fast. Because I think I've kind of inherited this type of similar feeling towards when people ask, oh, so when is it gonna come out? And like it's like, oh well, but it's like, it's a short film, right? Like I think you could get that.
Yeah.
Like it's been like a couple months, like you should be out. And I kind of inherited that, like I guess kind of I guess kind of feeling that you have, like it's not that simple,
Yeah,
you know?
I think when people kept asking me when it was gonna come out, I remember like I know they had like genuine curiosity, but sometimes, and I don't know if they truly meant it or it was just like an insecurity of mine, but it's like they kept asking to the point in which I'm like, are you waiting for me to say it's not? Like,
Yeah.
like I feel like right now you're just doubting me. That it's like, are you like procrastinating on it, or
Yeah.
like, do you just not care? Were you fucking with us? Like, I think that's where it was. And again, I'm like, I don't know if that's even what they meant, or it's just like I honestly was just a year and a half getting asked that question, and at one point you're just like, it was almost like for me, it was this thing of like I want to tell them when so bad, but I can't say confidently. But I don't want to tell them. I don't want to just tell them. I don't know, you know. But I think there's this thing that I just need to be comfortable with the I don't know, and also like kind of keeping some things, maybe like waiting till I finally know the answer to tell like everybody. Because Hyde was like announced and made a social media page way before it was coming out. Because again, expected it to come out sooner.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that's the thing to like know that unless they officially are saying like, oh, I'm giving up on it, like assume that they were still working on it. It's taking a lot of work. Like even with you, like I feel like there are some projects that I think we've like talked about or I've seen you work on, and it's like I don't hear about it anymore, but I don't make the assumption that it was like you just gave up on it. I feel like what you don't want is for you to be working on one thing and then for me to ask you like, "Oh, but what about this other thing?" Cuz I feel like, and I'm not saying it's like always something that's always going to come off negative, but I feel like I don't want you to be really enjoying one project you're doing and I come in just to like say like, what about this other one though? Like
Yeah.
you don't know about it, as if I mean I think if anything, if I were to ask about it, it's afterwards that I'm like already acknowledging your current project and really going into it, and then because we all get curious, it's like, yeah, what about this? But for
Yeah.
me, it was like, I guess at one point it was less about like my film career and more just like asking me when will Hyde be out.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of touch on that point about the different projects, and I know, I think I know which ones you're referring to. They're all still in the back of my mind, and they're all still like very present in my mind to this day. It's just also with you, I'm pretty sure while even you were working on Hyde, there was like, I'm pretty sure there was like other things popping your mind, like other
Yeah.
different ideas that you want to kind of pursue. And you had it much harder than, you definitely have it much harder than me, because you had a whole film crew like waiting
hmm
for
I,
this,
I always say when you think about Hyde being the practice and all the work it went in and all the money, it's like, damn, wow,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
practice film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I think the best thing to do in that situation is just assume that they're still working
Yeah.
on it. If not, like they're not, whatever,
It,
you
it's
know?
I think again, I think the best way to award it is like you got to make sure that it's like ask yourself, are you interested in their career in that? Like if I'm talking about film solely, is like, are you interested in their film career, or you just really just want to ask them about this? Like, I guess it's like, do you come off curious about the film career, or do you come off just like pestering them about one thing, or even like, as I said, like I don't know if well, some friends actually did tell me they thought High wasn't coming out at one point, and so I could kind of say for some people who asked me when is High coming out, they were waiting for me to say it's not,
Yeah.
because when I think about like other things I was doing again that there was like the guilt feeling, like if I was to start writing a script, like no one was asking me about like how writing was going. It was how was High going. If I was to release like a short edited skit video or something, like I made that fuck promo, no one's asking about that. They all asked about Hyde, And so you release something like that, you talk about something else, and then I almost got like nervous. Like, I hope they don't think I'm just ignoring this, you know? Like Hyde was so much work that I was hating it at one point. Like, I went off and on about hating it, that sometimes it's just like, look, in all honesty, I don't want to talk about it because you want to know the answer is like, yeah, still working on it. I don't know what else you want me to say. I'm still working on it. Why is it taking so long? It's hard.
Yeah. Well, I think now I kind of learned off that from your experience with that. I actually don't talk about my projects that much anymore. I kind of do it. I kind of just work on it myself, and I know personally when all my deadlines, quote unquote, are gonna be, and I'm actually like, I've been much happier like that because I used to be like, oh, this new project coming soon, yada yada, all that stuff, and then when it didn't happen, I feel like shit, you know, because it was like a lot more issues than I thought, you know, so I just kind of keep it to myself, and it's not like I'm never gonna talk about it, but if I'm not 100% sure about something, I'm not gonna tease it to everyone as if that's gonna happen.
Again, if you have the interest, show it. Appreciate your artist friends and all the work they do. But catch yourself when you're asking the same question over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then ask yourself, why am I asking that question? And do they seem happy answering this question? Did they say last time, it will be done when it's done? Or something along the lines of, it's hard.
Oh, man.
But I feel like I want to end on a more positive note. Like, I do want to say, like, when Hyde got finished, before the premiere, I had a secret screening, like they call it, with like all my close friends at my house, and they seemed to really like it. And they were very proud of me. My girlfriend, she was like just so happy to like see that moment, like all my friends gathered and talk about the film afterwards, and me like answering these questions. Friends making theories about the film, expressing what they like. Asking me, they pretty much treated like it was a film festival Q&A at the end, all crammed in my little room, even asking me like, what are your future projects, you know? It's like, even my friend, our friend Gorman, messaged me personally to like say thank you so much for having us there, because like that was just an amazing night. And it's that kind of touching stuff. And you know, you have the film premiere and you have your film crew that watches it, and they're there, and you just give them all the acknowledgement. It's 100% worth it. And getting those views, and other friends who like want to make it to the premiere, but one of our friends, Brian, after he saw the film, messaged me directly to tell me what he liked about it, comparing it to other projects. Calvin and Melissa actually had a night in which they sat down and turned the film on.
Oh, that's cool.
They got together to watch it. So it's feeling that love and support, and for people who are just like, they're going out of the way to watch this and then tell me that they're fans, pretty much. Like, it's the little things like that. Like, even if you're just going out of your way to watch it and you don't tell me anything, you just watch it, you're already supporting me. Because I see that extra view on YouTube, and I see when it happens, if I go into analytics, it's like, look at that. It's still, people are still looking at this. People are still catching on. And then I know, if they know who I am, they know this is like, I guess it's just like, if they know who I am and they know what I love to do, it's just like overall, like that whole film portfolio I have on YouTube is really just like incredible to them. Like that's like that, they're just happy that I'm doing it, and they want to support me wherever I'm doing.
Yeah. And so do you want to briefly go on like what's next? Is it just chilling out, or is it like,
oh, what next? It's funny. After the film premiere, I was like, I don't want to think about film ever again. And I said, like, I don't really mean that, everybody. Let's make that clear. But right now, when people ask me, like, so, what's the next short film? It's like, man, did you not just see I just released a short film? Let's lay off. You don't let your parent cook you dinner. When they serve you dinner, you go, oh, so what you making tomorrow? You know, you kind of just eat the food. And let your parent rest right there and just go like, look, they're enjoying the food. This is great. But yeah, actually, let's see. So I had the film premiere, and then I had a vacation afterwards. And after that, like, a few days passed, and I was already like getting excited thinking about the next project I'll work that would be filmed. And I feel like right now I'm just in a really good place with creativity, because it's like hides out, and no one's expecting anything from me now, and I could take on like any project guilt free, and I know more at this moment. And it's also this thing, like, I took a semester off from school, and I'm just using it to like focus on my creative endeavors. So since Hide, I have written more in my script for The Noise. I think I'm on page 21.
Wow.
Of that. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah. I'd actually, I realized, I was like, wait a minute, like, The Odd Job's 50 pages, and people were impressed by that. Like, that length, like, completing a script that much. I'm like, I'm already halfway there, and I think I'm going to be writing more.
Yeah.
And I'm sending it over to, like, a couple of people who get a little sneak peek and get to see the whole progression of everything one scene at a time, and they're loving it. They're like, this is, yes, I want more. And it's nice to, like, it's a script I'm writing that's not even like thinking about it being I visualize it being filmed, but I'm not writing it for the intention of it being the next thing filmed. It's like, I'm writing a good script. That's what I want to do right here. So there's that. I started playing with music more. I don't want to say too much about that, but I've definitely taken music more seriously, and hopefully everyone will get to see that. And other than that, I have thought of other projects. I got some locked up about what I would want to do next, and I guess the real question is, like, well, when do I want to do that? I do know this, that for my next project that's going to be a video project, I don't want to treat it to the extent... Oh, I burped into the mic. I don't want to treat it to the extent of, like, a short film. I actually, like, miss just doing, like, gathering around, like, a group of friends, kind of like just like 3-6 people, you know, and just making, like, a stupid video, something akin to, like, But Wait There's More and Solely Broke. Like, honestly, I want to make something funny again. Yeah. And I have some ideas of how I would want to do that, but it's honestly just like, well, let's see how far I could do these jokes. Like, I'm trying to make the approach the same way I've done all my comedy scripts. And I'm at the point, I'm like, wow, that'd be funny to put into a video. How do I make the context? Where do I go from here? Ah, shit, you know? It's like, how did I do this last time? Yeah. But yeah, I kind of just want to make a simpler video before I step into another short film.
Yeah, and I think we'd all be eager to kind of see.
Yeah, you want to get closer to the mic there? It was like way above you.
Yeah.
And you were mumbling like, I'm sorry, everyone who didn't hear Azero.
I'm slowly slumping down this couch because I don't want to move the mic. But yeah, we're here now. Anyways, is there any wrap?
I guess that's a good closing note right there. I mean, you guys got it all. And I hope this inspires people out there. And again, it's that thing of like, yeah, things are gonna be hard, and that's why it's gonna be unpleasant at the moment. But it's kind of like this weird feeling of when you're really passionate about it. It's just like, yeah, it's hard and it could suck, but yet you love it, you know. And just knowing that it's like, if that first day is, or if any day's hard, and you starting to like contemplate just, maybe I don't want to do this for my life. That's like completely natural. And just when you're able to push through it, and then the next day look back and be like, yeah, I want to actually do that again. Like, that's when you know, like, you really care about it. And just, you know, be patient. Be patient. Like understand nothing needs a deadline that's going to be demanding more from you than you really can give.
Unless you're at a job. And
yeah, I mean, unless you're at a job. But then part of the reason I was so stressed because my job was demanding stuff from me.
Yeah.
But I just want to make that clear.
If you have the job that is in the creative field that has a deadline, yes. But I think what you're talking about specifically,
if you're your own personal project,
yes.
It's just like keeping that patience, knowing that there's gonna be times that it's just gonna be outright like a terrible time experiencing it, but push through it. Like just finish it, and whether it's exactly how you wanted it or nowhere close, you won't regret it. Like it's literally gonna end with no bad results.
I think it's actually it's a skill to push past. I actually now know that, because there's a lot of things in which I just wanted to like give up on, like art I wanted to give up on. But once I started pushing through like all like the negative thoughts while drawing it, it actually turned out to be much better than I thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, push through it. And what do you have to lose? Like you say time, well, I guarantee you're probably you're if you didn't spend that time fucking up, you're gonna spend that time saying, what if I did this? And then that's just gonna eat you up more.
I no longer have a what if about Hyde.
Yeah.
That makes it all worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, I think this is a good time for us to sign off here.
All right.
So
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. And if you haven't seen Hyde yet, go watch it. It's on my channel, Vicaro Studios. And if you have seen Hyde already, thank you. If you have any Hyde questions, I mean, feel free to just message us on or comment on this video, and we can answer them. I wouldn't mind doing maybe a mini-sode of that.
That'd be nice. Are you gonna put it in the link or
the mini-sode?
Oh no, the Hyde.
I guess I should. Yeah. Go check down the link.
Yeah, check down the link. It'll be easy access.
Easy, yes. Again, thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. Unless it's daytime, have a good day then.
Yeah, have a good whatever. Have a good life.
Hello. I don't know if we're going to put this at the end of the last episode we did, or if we're just going to kind of make this its own standalone episode, little mini episode. But we are going to address some things that I think people have been seeing. So the changes. What's going on with the show, Confidently Uncertain?
I don't know, Nick. What's going on?
Thank you. You have to lean up every time. You want to put the mic closer, or like what's going on?
It's just I'm really scared of
workouts.
Well, I'm really scared of touching the mic right now because I don't want to just stop recording.
You know, this
because
is almost like one of the reasons why. Just do it, man. I can edit it. All right.
What? Like
just get close to it. It's
okay. I mean, I'm close right here.
I meant you could sit up.
Okay, I guess.
You want me to hold it?
Okay, I think that's fine.
Azero illustrated a reason that's going to be brought up a bit later about what is going on to Confidently Uncertain is happening. I know it's weird because I was being vague with that, but we're kind of going this without really any type of like outline except for what we need to address. We originally started doing this with the schedule of releasing every Thursday, and that was supposed to be on a weekly thing. And as of recent, and I don't know if it's recent, it must be like a month now, but we haven't been releasing every week. We've now been releasing every other week, and I can't even say like we've been doing that on Thursdays. If you follow us on social media, you've probably seen like announcements of, sorry, we cannot release this episode today. It's not ready yet. We'll be releasing it on Friday. Even last week, the episode didn't make it till Thursday night, which technically is still Thursday, but it wasn't ready on Thursday like usual. And at the same time, on my mistake, I forgot to even post about it and announce it to people, and that I didn't notice that till Friday. And at that moment, I said, "Fuck it," which I know that's not a good mentality for me to be having in producing the show, but that's kind of what happened. So I'm here to like explain this, and I don't know if Azero like has any feelings similar or maybe adds on too. He's here.
I am here. Hi.
He just has to lean up more. So what's going on? Why did we start doing bi-weekly? So we have started doing bi-weekly episodes because our schedules have been not lining up so well. Um, we used to do these ahead of schedule, as if you heard in the early episodes, like in the first ones, we had episodes already pre-recorded weeks before releasing them. And at one point, after the first episode, we had people asking us to talk about certain things, and we were like, "Oh crap, they're gonna have to wait like 3 episodes for that." So we decided, okay, what if we actually like recorded weekly, like kept update with everything, just in case people had questions or like asked about certain things. And that just became hectic. Like it completely negated the fact of why we pre-recorded in the first place, which was if we couldn't, if 1 week didn't work out, it would be okay because we already had the next episode ready. And as of recent, that has happened. Like we are struggling to find the right times to record. I think there's been some weeks, like we've been doing a pretty good job in the early start of Confidently Uncertain, in which we were able to record every week on a consistent day. And then at one point that day wasn't working out too well. There was this thing in which we record every Thursday, but then I point out, because we got Ian on the team to do the sound mixing, that when we record on Thursday, I have Friday and Saturday to I want to give Ian the weekend to work on it. And even though he has till Thursday, it's like some people would rather do it on the weekend or maybe the weekdays. So if we record on Thursday, it's like, well, that means I have to work on it Friday. And if I can't do one Friday, we're already behind schedule. And that became a bit more lenient with Ian, since he's like, you could just send it to me on Monday. But once he gets it on Monday, he gets it to me on Tuesday. And that means I have Tuesday to review it. And if it's not perfect, send it back to him, get it on Wednesday, and hopefully that all works out. And my Wednesdays became just pretty much like editing for the podcast night, just the podcast night. I go take it after work and then release on Thursday. And it was honestly getting exhausting at one point. But that's kind of skipping ahead a bit. So Thursday, I said, like, that's not the best day for us anymore. We got to try another day. And no other day worked for us. And then at one point, Thursday just didn't work for us anymore. I don't know if it's because, like, we talked about trying other days, and we did, that it just became, like, now in our schedules, we didn't see any day as the priority for Confidently Uncertain. And I think overall, I mean, it's kind of like our schedules. After that, like, our schedules just weren't really going together. Like, you've been working nights and I've been working days.
Yeah, it's just like we both have jobs that, well, I actually, I'll speak for myself. I have a job that is very fluctuating at times. Sometimes I'm working only like midday, but sometimes I'm like today I work till 9. Right, it's different type of schedules, and I'm hoping by next season, meaning January.
Did we agree on January?
What? No. I'm sorry. Season for my work.
Oh, okay.
Work season. No.
Wait, hold on.
No.
I know we're going like off no script right now. Shit.
No. What I meant is, so not gonna go too much into it, but there's some certain things that I'm changing about my job, which is really exciting. I hope for it to be more consistent. I want to work more in the morning till midday, almost like a 9 to 5, and like. But for as of recently, you had a anniversary as well. Like I had, we had
a weekend vacation anniversaries.
Yeah,
yours was after mine.
Exactly. So we there was just one thing piled on top of another. We literally, I think literally every weekend of October was booked.
Yeah. Oh, mentioning that too. I mean, we literally came off the Hyde episode, but like wrapping up Hyde was a lot of work. Like
Yeah.
in that last month of October and
Yeah.
planning for the event, that I think we actually, like, you were helping me plan the event and we just forgot to record an episode because we were working on this event so much, going to the stores, setting up the place, gathering everything together, and then we realized like, oh god, this whole week
Yeah.
went by. We did not record an episode, and I even told Ian, I said like, because we recorded on the weekend, but I was like, I don't think we recorded on the weekend because the premiere was there. So I told Ian like, we just don't have an episode this time, like I'm gonna give you an episode. We're recording on Monday, and I'm gonna give it to you Tuesday. Don't worry about getting that on Thursday because I don't want you putting that on yourselves. And I'm saying that I'm not confident we recorded on the Monday. I just remember we missed a week, and then after that it was just like, Ian, you're not getting this on time. We're not gonna get this episode out on time because of that. Don't force yourself because I know you're fucking. I know what's going on in your life right now with work and other things.
I think one little, I guess, extra note about confidently uncertain. This podcast, yes, we really like it, and yes, this is something that like has been working out for the most part since it's very convenient. We could do it at our home here in San Francisco, in our pajamas, like where we could be comfortable. But the main thing is it is supposed to work around our schedule, not something. Honestly, it's not something that we have other priorities in life.
Yeah.
Like it's just how it is, and I'm not saying we don't enjoy it. But if this isn't something that like is a do or die thing, like we have other like the height thing, like you said, we didn't have time to think about other miscellaneous things because every week was important because it was just us two and like a couple other people helped. But
it was us two and one other person on the first day that did a big setup. And then on the last week, it was just me and you.
Exactly. And it was just us two. This big syzygy, if you guys haven't been there, like we're setting up like a whole building essentially and like pretty much improvising on the spot. Like, what do we do?
And again, just gathering everything together, gathering like the other films.
Yeah.
Making sure like, I remember what we had to do. We had to get 42 chairs in this common room that looks like it can't handle 42 chairs.
Yeah.
We're trying to make this room into a theater. And then I remember I was like, and then we have to find a way for we can get everybody to go downstairs so I can move all these chairs and make this a hangout spot again. And then bring them back upstairs and let them know. Like that's the type of planning we're doing and coordinating. And we did find ways to do it, but it was like we had to figure that out.
And not only that, we were also traveling. We had to go get supplies. There's all this like mumble jumble. And to be quite honest, I felt like even if we did remember, I don't think we'd be in the right mindset to do the podcast. It was just one of those urgent top priority things.
Yeah. And to take it back to what you were saying, we love doing this podcast, and we love that there's people loving this podcast. But when we started this, we always said, like, this should be something that is a addition to our life that's more just, it's going to be more fun to do, but it shouldn't be anything that becomes strenuous on our lives.
Right.
And I think that's where I really saw this problem when I wanted to talk about this and give us this bi-weekly schedule was because I'm not going to speak for you, but definitely for me, it then became something strenuous because every week I had to like urgently message you and ask you, when are we recording? Because I didn't know which day. And the scariest thing was asking, even if it was just asking on a Monday, because it was like, shit, we might not have any day. Like if I didn't ask before the week, there's a good chance nothing was going to work out for us. And we did stuff like, okay, I could do it like today. It's like, okay, can you meet me at 10 o'clock at night? We even tried last night in which we were like, okay, 11:30 at night. And you overslept through a nap. And I had no problem with that because I was like, I'm not going to get you here when you're exhausted.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the real problem with this was I remember at one point, what happened actually this week was it was something that was like we could only we could only record on a Wednesday, and I had to make the decision. Okay, do I record Confidently Uncertain, or do I go see this band perform that I like at this venue that I like? And it's a cheap show too.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that decision. I was like, wait, Confidently Uncertain isn't supposed to be this. It's not supposed to be, should I choose this fun event or go recording? Because it was always supposed to be that extra thing in the life, not that thing that controls our lives. So yeah, it's just trying to relax on it. And again, that thing of like what I said about editing, like after we record, I go through the episode, edit things together, tell Ian like specific notes about things, and then he mixes it all. And then I had to go through it again and then upload it on YouTube and set up that video. And like we are trying to get it on Spotify, but you have to do things in order. And Ian's touching up episode 0. We're working on a trailer to be the first thing you hear on Spotify and iTunes. It's just, it's not like it's tons and tons of work, but it's more work than we can handle at the moment with the schedule we gave ourselves for the podcast. And overall, like giving this more relaxed schedule, I guess it's like not just benefiting us with our careers and our lives in general, but I also wanted to benefit the podcast for it's not like a choice between like setting up for Spotify or getting the next episode out. Like Ian didn't get to episode 0 for a while because he was doing the newest episodes. And it's like that kind of thought in your mind, like, okay, the reason we are not progressing as a show as a whole is because we are doing more episodes. Like to think of it like that. Like, oh, that's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And I just want to quickly add, I think it would be really obvious if we start doing it under that strenuous pressure, because we want to be authentic as possible for these conversations. You know, I won't lie. There are some times where I feel exhausted and like I don't really want to talk or anything like that. And I feel like I kind of agree. Like lately, the strain of having to do this on a schedule, even when it's just like just thinking about this was supposed to be fun, like it just wasn't clicking in my mind.
Yeah.
And I for me personally, I know I have it much easier than you, because you have to actually like Nick edits Nick and Ian, they edit this. All I do is I'm a co-host here. I talk. So I'm not saying like it's not important either. I acknowledge that it's probably much more stress on you.
It is. It's that thing again, like when you're, I'm not dissing you, but when you're done for the day, you're done.
I'm done.
You don't have to worry about a thing.
Exactly.
We give you everything. But for me, I had, like, after recording, I got to think about it, like, okay, am I cutting anything out?
Mm-hmm.
How am I arranging the intro? How am I doing the outro? And I need to make sure I get this all to Ian in a timely manner.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was this. I have felt this change. I mean, even in like we could have a good episode, but I know the underlying feeling, like what was happening underneath. Like the early episodes was always like excitement, like we're doing this, yes. Or we talk about now, that's a good subject, let's do it. And for the later ones, I felt more like when we sat down and started recording, there's a real like, okay, let's get this over with mentality. Yeah. Again, like with the say for the Hyde example, the Hyde episode, for example, yes, I liked sharing my experience with Hyde, and I liked doing that episode, but recording that whole episode, I mean, we fucking started like 10. I don't think we actually started recording until like officially 10:30.
Yeah.
It's past midnight now.
Yeah.
And yeah, doing the Hyde episode, as much as I like talking about it, I was like, but let's get this episode over with. Let's just do it. And even doing this explanation, like you were like, well, do we have to do it now?
Yeah.
And I had to tell you, like, when are we going to be able to meet again?
And it's like, yeah, that's a good point. And it's just that's when it starts turning into work.
Yeah.
You know?
So as of now, here's how it's working. And I also think like we're going to probably experiment with a new day, but because it's been working out on Fridays more, but I'll do better on updating the social media. and to give updates if episodes released on Thursday or Friday, or if all honesty is getting there later. And just making sure you guys are in the loop. But as of now, we definitely are doing these bi-weekly for the rest of season 1. And I see season 1 going on for 20 episodes. So if this was episode 15, the last one, then we got 5 more episodes. Gonna come out bi-weekly. I know we have more to tell. Just be patient with us, because we don't want to rush and cram it into the end of our day. We want to actually like sit down and talk as friends, not just people trying to get a conversation over with.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go up to episode 20. We're gonna release the next 5 episodes bi-weekly. And after that, we are gonna pretty much step up the podcast game. Like, we started off this thing. Fucking, there's a leg missing on Azero's mic stand.
Yeah.
And so that's why he was fumbling around and was so scared to like move, because it might not go. We're like, we want to get better equipment, and I would be doing that in between the break. My mic's held up by a paper towel roll. Like, we're gonna get official equipment that we don't have to like do balancing acts with.
Yeah.
We're gonna get our stuff on Spotify, iTunes, and whoever the hell accepts us, because honestly, doing the videos is a pretty big pain in the ass.
I'm sure.
It's time consuming. Even though it's easy, it's still like it's time consuming regardless. But you know, my idea is like, let's move beyond YouTube once we hit season 2 and have everything up on just audio streaming platforms.
Yeah. I'm so ready for that. And
I can't say when season 2 will be out, because I mean, we're still trying to wrap up season 1.
Take it one step at a time.
Yeah, take it one step at a time. But definitely see, like, once we get to episode 20, like, there will be a month or 2 break.
Right.
And I see that partly as getting these things together, but also like it might even be more than 2 months, because I want to go back to how we originally wanted and have episodes pre-recorded, doing these ahead of time.
Right.
For once the season's starting off, we're not actually recording every week the episodes are getting released. Like, we already had them out, and you know, just for something that's less about something that we have to do every week, and more about something that we could put a lot of work into for a couple of months and then release it to the world, and that's when we take the break.
Yeah, and you know, like, to wrap it up on my part, I still want this podcast to be as genuine and as fun as possible, and not just for us, you know, as hosts and all that, but for you guys. And you know, we do like sharing our lives, sharing our journeys. You know, it's something that, you know, that's given us new passion, has given us even learning experiences. So just bear with us. We promise we have you guys always on our minds, and we're doing our best.
Yes. So with that, I guess now, Azero, you could take your shower. Don't knock the mic stand on the way out.
No promises.
And for me, here's the funny thing: when Azero asked me, oh shit, I hit the pop filter. When Azero asked me if we had to record this tonight, I literally got a text message from my girlfriend that said, "Excuse me, confidently uncertain. It's Thursday," and I was like, "Yep, no, we have to do this." I officially now got a fan who is demanding it.
Yeah.
But as always, if you're listening to this during the day, then have a good day. If this is night for you, then have a good night. This is Nick Vick signing off.
And the Azero Alcala signing off.
And we appreciate you all for sticking by with us so much. Thank you.
Thank you a million times.
Bye.
Bye-bye.